What is up, y'all? It's Coffee back at it, and we got a lot of breaking news right here, man. For the record, it's Fluck AI. That's how I feel. I'm not a fan of all this robot takeover ish, man. And it ties into some hip hop news, court news, a lot to get at, man. And what's going on? I don't know if y'all remember back some months back, Pras of the legendary Fugees got convicted in a case that really sounded like some wild-ish that could be the script of some kind of spy CIA political cover-up thriller movie or something like that, man. Like, really, the facts of the case that Pras got tied up in with this rich Malaysian businessman and, money being funneled into presidential campaigns and things of that nature was bonkers. Like, it really sounds like some spy movie or something. Comment if y'all felt that way, man. Like, peep the way this all sounds. On April 20th, attorney David Kenner delivered closing statements for Pras in a closely watched fraud trial involving allegations that the Fugees founding member directed a sprawling conspiracy in which he funneled money from a Malaysian financier to a network of straw donors to make illegal campaign contributions to Barack Obama in 2012. But to the surprise of Pras' new lawyers, who were retained after the artist was found guilty, Kenner's first remarks to the jury appeared to be an admission of guilt. Now, real quick, David Kenner, I believe he was involved with Suge Knight, Death Row Records? Like, he's represented a lot of very powerful people, but y'all heard that at the last line of that press release, that his closing arguments, were no good. They had an admission of guilt in them. And at the end of the day, Pras' new attorneys are very smart, and this man may get this, I'm predicting may get this conviction thrown out and possibly a mistrial or something to that extent. As I was surprised, I thought Pras had been sentenced at this point. Apparently, like, I could have swore, I remember I was following this case a little bit when it was all ongoing. I was like, damn, Pras was wrapped up in some wild-ish, like, it seems like everyone who flux with Wyclef is involved in some crazy-ish, right? Like, Clef himself was involved in some misappropriations of funds and stuff like that. John Forte, who was a part of the whole refugee camp All-Stars, got involved in some ish with some bricks and got slayed with a very long prison sentence. And then now having Pras in this situation, I was like, damn, but apparently he's still awaiting sentencing. I was shocked. I could have sworn he was sentenced, but his new attorneys may really be able to get him to walk, because peep what has been uncovered in these new court filings. And a motion has been put into play and everything. It says, in a motion filed on Monday, Pras' new attorneys argued that Kenner, known across Hollywood for representing artists in assault and homicide cases, made frivolous arguments and failed to highlight key weaknesses in the government's case by generating his closing argument using an AI program called iLevel AI, in which he allegedly has an undisclosed financial stake. So that's crazy, man. AI, I don't like it. I've talked about it from time to time. A lot of other people feel real uneasy about this whole AI takeover that we seem to be in the midst of, and I'm hoping more and more people say fuck AI. And that's what's going on here. Is it seems his attorney used AI to generate these closing arguments. It sounds like some lazy-ish, in my opinion, you know what I mean? But I'm sure the attorney Kenner would say, no, this is a great program, but you also heard he owns a stake in the company. But nonetheless, these weak-ass closing arguments, according to Pras' new attorneys, which had an admission of guilt itself in the closing arguments, is all because he used AI. Isn't that so crazy? Like, AI is something that's still is being discussed. A lot of people feel a lot of different ways about it, and Pras facing this very serious case where he could face up to 20 years in prison, who has a paid lawyer who is paid very handsomely, I may add, is using AI to draw up closing arguments. That's bizarre to me. That's crazy. But at the end of the day, I really feel like this could be something that could have Pras walk and get a new trial, right? Because the new attorneys filed these motions and are saying, hey, this man didn't get a fair trial. He had ineffective counsel. His attorney used AI, and then fucked him over. Isn't that crazy? A wild turn of events. Speaking of hip hop and rappers and court cases and ineffective counsel, what's up with the wave guy, Max B? I remember he was about to touch down really soon, and that's how he was able to get out of a lot of extra years that he was. What did he originally get hit with? Like 75 years, but his attorneys, that stepped in, new attorneys, and reviewed the case, said, man, this guy had ineffective counsel. He had an attorney that was taking a case to trial where this guy was facing more or less life in prison. And he was blogging about it on the internet and everything. And, this was a situation where there was ineffective counsel. So in turn, they with some sentencing adjustments made, and the wave god's supposed to touch down soon. But I feel like this is really smart on the part of Pras's new attorneys to find this out. And was this something that was not known before? Like, did no one know that he used AI in these closing arguments before? That's really something, again, that I think shouldn't really be allowed in court. But who knows? What if this could be a major swerve, right? Where Kenner could know these newer attorneys, and he could say, man, you're facing a serious case here. This is how we're going to rock. I'm going to put together the closing arguments with this AI program. If we lose, these other attorneys will step in and say that this was bad business when I did this, and that you didn't get a fair trial, and we could swerve them like that. I don't know. Maybe that didn't happen. Maybe it did. Don't nothing surprise me, especially in a case like this. Like I said, that seems to have the plot and script of a spy movie or something. This could be like a James Bond type movie. But I don't know. What do you guys think, man? Do you think Pras will walk? What do you think about this AI-ish? But all the more reason that I say to get the fuck up out of here with AI and all that. And speaking of AI and hip hop, there's something else we got to talk about.
And we know that there's a lot of talk about AI. We know how the feelings of violating certain things. But let me tell you something. I got a solution. I'm working on it. It's going to be beneficial to everybody. But in the meantime, I got to share something I've been working on, because I always wanted to do this, and I never got a chance to. I always wanted to work with Big, and I never got a chance to. Until today, it came out right. Play. Not a pimp, but I keep the trick up my sleeve. Worry my fucking run and get your bitch seized. Gotta have my palm, she won't be my man. Look up, cheese. It ain't all me, it's in me. Keep all my soul growing when I'm really 15 carats on my chain, I like my drop it fast, I brought all that literally. Come in and yes, you said it's not giving. If you want to smoke, I gotta keep a hot chimney. A lot of ants.
Legendary producer Timbaland, and I can't stress this enough, man. Timbo's got some of the illest beats ever. So much, comment your favorite Timbaland beat of all time, and he's done so much amazing work with so many artists, from Timbaland and Magoo. Obviously, R.I.P. Magoo, who passed away a few months ago. Worked with Aaliyah, Genuine, Missy Elliott, Justin Timberlake, which I know a lot of people don't fuck with Justin, but the list goes on, and that's just artists that he worked very closely with. But as far as beats, he's got so many bangers out there. Some of my favorite Timberland beats of all time is that lobster shrimp joint with him and Jay-Z, which was a fire album. A lot of people don't remember that album back from like 98, 99. Jay-Z off Volume 3, Snoopy track with Juvenile singing the hook, fire beat. Like Timbo has just done so much legendary-ish, and just his beats always been on another level in my opinion. Like, back in the day and even still now to a degree, whenever an artist who's really up there in the game would be coming forth with an album, it would seem like they would always need a Timberland beat on the track. But anyways, y'all saw that he never got to work in his lifetime with the Notorious B.I.G. And now he has via AI. And personally, I don't like this AI-ish, like I've been saying, especially when it comes to the music. Some may argue some of the stuff that labels were doing with Biggie and Pac's posthumous work, where they would put their verses on other beats and with other artists and stuff like that. Not necessarily AI, but was kind of funny style already. I don't know. This is a big argument, a big debate here, but there's been all kinds of AI hip hop being put up into the blogosphere and stuff like that. But Timbaland's talking about now where he wants to do a whole Biggie album, and he's just really pushing for AI to be a big part of the rap game, and is saying that it can change the game in so many ways, where they can lay out reference tracks and hit up artists and say, yo, we got a whole little demo out of you, what you would sound like on these kind of beats, and the artist's vocals will already be laid without them doing it themselves. And I just really don't like that. You know what I mean? Where someone can just takes someone's voice and flow and stuff like that. At the end of the day, they're intellectual property, and that's what it comes down to. That even if Timbaland moves forward with this or he doesn't, those who feel a little uneasy about this whole AI-ish, like myself, one thing is anyone who's like, for instance, Biggie we're talking about. If Timbaland is able to move forward with this Biggie project, Biggie's estate, has to clear it. Like any artist has to clear this. You know what I'm saying? Someone just can't be making Tupac AI records without his estate or whoever legally has to it has to be cleared, period.